So we're gonna watch Julie here in this video clip, and Julie is a very strong paddler, right? Her body is moving well, there's good rotation. However, what she has to work on is her traction in the water. So if you look at how her upper body is moving, it's really moving back and forth a lot quicker than the boat is moving forward, right? So it's a little disproportional between her body motion and the boat moving forward, right? The reason for that is because there is no downward pressure through her stroke. If you look at her shoulders, right, her bottom shoulder, it just moves back a little too quickly and it slips. Right, what has to happen for Julie is that when the blade is fully buried, she needs to be a little bit more patient, apply downward force using that outside shoulder, and then moving her hips forward. However, what's happening is that her blade is not set, and she starts to move that outside shoulder backwards. As a result, her paddle is just traveling too quick through the water. It's ripping. There's no traction. So although Julie has a lot of motion, a lot of rotational force, it's not being applied to the boat. And the reason for that, she needs to apply a downward pressure to keep the paddle in the water and maintain that position before she moves forward. Thanks. So over here, I'm just going to demonstrate the importance of having downward pressure. Right. So I got a piece of paper, I got a stick, and notice how the paper just slides back if I do not apply any downward pressure. The same is true as we're paddling. If there's no downward pressure, your paddle will just slip by. You're going to rip. There's no traction. You're not going to be able to apply yourself efficiently. So you look over here, right, I place my paddle in the water, I go for my catch, right? What has to happen is that I have to drop my outside shoulder, apply a downward pressure, right? As you see now, my my stick is bent, right? I maintain that downward pressure as I pull through the water, right? You gotta put your weight on the blade, on your outside shoulder, apply the downward pressure to keep the paddle in the water, and then you rotate your hips forward, right? Too often, people miss that downward pressure, they lose that pressure, the paddle just rips through the water, it goes back, and then, they're moving a lot, they're applying themselves, but they're not efficiently moving the boat forward, right? So it's so important. You go for the catch, you apply downward pressure, look at how my stick is bent, I keep the pressure down all throughout my stroke during the pull phase, right? So even though when you're using the paddle's not going to bend, but what's happening is that I'm applying a downward pressure, I'm keeping the paddle at the front of the stroke, I maintain that position, it becomes fixed, I move myself forward, right? Because with that downward pressure, the paddle is now stuck into the water, and therefore I can rotate my hips forward. Right? What you don't want to happen is that you put your paddle in, right? You're not fixed, and you start slipping, right? You start slipping. You look at how the piece of paper just slides back and forth if you do not apply a downward pressure, right? It's so important that you have to put your weight and keep that piece of paper, or in our situation, keep the paddle there, keep that body of water at the catch up front. Otherwise, all you're going to be doing is just slipping, and putting a lot of effort, not going anywhere. Okay. Anyways, I'm Dave. Something to think about. Thanks. Bye.